All right, beautification people.
All right.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you for having us. I don't know everybody on the board anymore, so my name is Kathy Dinkle, for beautification. But luckily, I have two people from my committee.
Recording in progress.
Lend support,
I'm Maggie Verdi.
and Mike is on Zoom. We're here tonight to ask the board to consider our proposal for new and more elaborate decorations and lighting in our village for the holidays. I think you all received the packet.
Yes,
We did. I'll share my screen so that
Okay.
anyone who hasn't seen it or who might be watching now.
Last season, we started the ball rolling with having a professional group come in and restring all the lights on the new tree in Christmas Tree Island. And we also installed or paid for new lights on the roof of the gazebo. So we are trying slowly, but now we really want to put the tires on this thing and get something else going here. We've tried to do more lighting over the years, and every time we've tried to do bring up lighting, oh, why can't we do trees like we've received in this packet? The answer was always, we can't, there's no electricity, the poles are there and so forth. So it's very frustrating. This year, well, last year, but this year in particular, so many people came back to us and said, gee, Chappaqua looks fabulous. They have so many great lights, and they did. They really look good.
They did, I agree.
I mean, the best. We have tried to do is really as much as we possibly can here. The places that we can't have electricity, we put in battery operated lights or solar lights. But it's not great. It's very dim. And we really wanted to do a shebang movement here. We wanted to do really make it look fabulous. And so thus we put together, Mario interviewed 3 companies and got their proposals, and my committee met, and we all decided that we really, really, really want to push for this. It's expensive, as you can see, but if we don't do it now, when will we do it? And piecemeal, I don't think is really going to do it. And talking to Mike, I should say, I'll backtrack a little bit, because Eric said, oh, do you want the same amount of money in your budget this year? And I said, well, I guess maybe that was going to be $30,000 or $35,000, correct, Eric?
35,000.
Okay, but we really don't need that much money. We can go down to 20, 25 at the moment, 20 probably, and still be able to accomplish all the things we want to accomplish. And with that in mind, if we could take the money that we thought we were going to get and put it towards the decorations, and you add a little bit more money to that, it would really be helpful.
So you think you'd give back 15 of the 35
Yes,
and apply that to the holiday lights?
yes. And as you can see here, besides the company that would come in and install the lights on the various places that we've named here, Wheeler Avenue, Washington, 4 trees at Manville Fence Line, and the 3 trees in Nona Park, which came to $24,000, $200 that would be per year. That's rental, install, removal, storage, and service calls, because we right now don't have storage for most of the things we do as it is.
So it would be, we wouldn't own the stuff, we're renting.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. The next part of it would be in-house, to cut the cost a little bit, although it still would be costly, is that we would like to do the poles, 25 poles in the plaza, each with artificial but real looking greens and wreaths, 2 wreaths per pole. Because we've spent a lot of money on these greens every year, and it just seems to me that, like Briarcliff, that has artificial, it makes more sense. I think they would probably last 5 to 8 years, and then we'd have to probably buy new.
So when you say in-house, you're talking about the manual labor to install?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we would do that. And then we were also thinking that possibly, we thought about this for years, actually. We have snowflakes, as you know, in various parts of the village, not as many as we had when we first started, but we have some. And we were wondering if we couldn't take those snowflakes and start them along Bedford Road all the way up to the old village. And in place of those, put in this. It's very bright, it's kind of fun.
And does that mount on a pole or?
Yes, it would.
Mhm.
The Village of Greenport, Long Island has this. They look fabulous. They add a lot of light. And instead of adding, more snowflakes, moving them.
Was that picture in the email?
I'm not
I
sure
didn't,
this-
I don't see it.
Yeah, no, that one.
Okay,
So,
we can make a copy.
and what's
and get it to
the,
you.
like, this,
Okay,
the-
these balls are fabulous.
Yeah, they
I
look
like
great.
the balls.
Again, you can see them if you Google, the Village of Greenport, New York.
There's some, I've seen some around the village too, like, I don't know if they're exactly the same, but similar.
Around here?
Here? Yeah.
I mean, not in our village, but nearby, you mean?
No, on individual houses.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
Yeah.
houses,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like on Great Oak Lane, there was one.
They're pretty big, but honestly, when you get them up at the tree, they don't look as big as you think. And
Mhm.
we were thinking of putting in at least 7, keep it an odd number. And 7 would make it look like something.
Mhm.
In each tree? Seven in
sorry?
each tree?
It would be in Nona Park and it would
Yes.
also be
7
along
per
the
tree,
fence. I'm sorry, 7 in each tree, yes,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're great looking.
They're great looking.
So,
Yeah, they're cool.
so these layouts were done by this decor company?
These were done, yes. One of the companies actually took our trees and laid out the lights accordingly, so you can
Uh-huh.
see how they would look.
And the budget you showed up front would be to achieve what we see in these mock-up pictures?
Yes. And also we would have to install electrical work, which would be $10,000.
And is that a one-time cost?
Yes.
My,
The electric would be a one-time cost. That's basically to give us power and to, basically accomplish the areas we want to add lights and electric to that currently don't have electric or plugs.
and where is that coming from? Off light poles?
Yes,
So that the trees would have power coming in from the top, not from the ground level?
correct.
That's right.
Okay. And so that 10,000 would give the decor company everything they need to come in with their stuff and make happen what they show in these layouts?
Yeah, so we figured out the areas that we wanted to add to. This is what we put together, and then we went to the village electrician to give us a quote on what it would take to accomplish this layout with what we currently have and what we would need to add to make it all work.
Mhm.
And these are all LED lights, correct?
I believe so. Is that true,
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah,
Okay.
And how do they go on and off? Is there some light sensor that turns them off in the morning, or how does
it
that
would
work?
be a timer,
Yeah.
just like the
There's a
tree.
timer on every circuit
On every tree.
that the
Well,
company would provide?
every set area would have a timer. So Nona Park, the trees that are attached to that circuit would have a timer. The trees across from Wheeler, across would each have a timer.
And is that all built into the electrician's cost, or is that something that
Yes.
the decor company brings and?
Well, so typically the decor company would bring in the timer as they're setting up the lights, but it would be the electrician would have it all set up so that they would be able to do that.
Okay, so, I'm looking, for example, the page I'm on right now that has the combination of the balls and the wrap.
Mhm.
And yet in lots of other places, right, there are proposed tree wraps like on Washington Avenue here,
It's just lights,
but no balls.
right.
The balls look great.
Balls look great, but it's more expensive, so. I
Are
mean,
they
we
more
can Just get this
Are the balls
started.
more expensive than the wrap?
I'll take the balls on other trees.
Well, where I was going is, would you take the balls and not the wrap? And I don't know what that does to the budget. Maybe it doesn't help.
I think we really want if we can go for the whole shebang, we want the whole shebang.
I'm not surprised to hear that.
Is this something that it would make sense to spend recreation fees on, or is that money already flagged?
No, you can't spend recreation fees on holiday lights.
Okay,
It has to be for recreation.
What were you gonna say,
Okay.
David?
So I have a question. This all looks lovely. The snowflakes look great, the balls, the lights. Last year, I got probably 15 calls in an hour from Jewish residents when our fire trucks started running around with wreaths on them. Wreaths, unlike all of these other things which are seasonal and potentially interreligion, wreaths are very specifically Christian and connected to Christmas historically. And it felt like aligning ourselves with one versus the other. So would there be, do you feel, do you have any feelings about that? And would there be alternatives to the wreaths specifically here?
No, I like the wreaths, I really do.
Okay.
I don't know,
I never thought wreaths were,
Are
Yeah,
you
or
Jewish or?
no, I thought it was Christmas.
yeah.
The greenery.
Holiday.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it is Christmas for
sorry.
sure. Yeah, no, what you're saying is absolutely what Jewish people think too.
I meant seasonal holidays.
Yeah, no,
Like ice skating, skiing, not just Christmas.
okay, well, maybe at a separate time, do some research because I think you will find that it's very specifically.
So what if it
connected
was just
to-
the greenery?
Greenery, I think is fine in general. I think the wreath form in particular is connected historically to Christmas.
I'm sorry, we've been doing wreaths for years and I would like to see we put a wreath on the clock and we wrap it. We put a wreath in the parks all the time.
Gazebo?
The gazebo, yeah, the garden club makes the wreaths, put in there. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's all about keeping things in balance.
I mean,
Right.
that truck also had like Santa and stuff like that. I've
It did,
actually
yeah.
done some research on this, so I know where this stuff comes from. The problem is it's like, you're both right in the sense that all this stuff is, as with a lot of Christian things, all this stuff is pre-Christian, right? But has been very much kind of absorbed by the.
It was pre-Christian, but it
Christian
wasn't
tradition as
it wasn't part of Judaism before Christianity.
Right.
So was the call about the truck or was it about Plaza?
Well, no, it was about specifically the wreaths on the truck. And I'm sure there were other things that
They
set
had the
people off, but
lights
that's what I,
and-
Yeah, it was the
What I-
DPW trucks, it wasn't the
Yeah.
fire truck.
yeah,
So,
yeah, the DPW.
They also had they had like a Noel, like figure eight. I think that's what really took it
Yeah, maybe that's
To
not,
another
to
level.
another level.
Yeah,
And
that
if
was-
it's just the wreaths, I think
for some reason, the wreaths was the more visible thing at a distance, and that's what I personally got the calls about. But there may have been multiple things.
David, as long as I've been doing this, which has been a very long time.
Yeah,
We've never received anything or heard anybody say anything about a wreath.
well, composition of the
I'm
village
not
could be
the board.
changing too.
all right, so are these budget numbers for the garland and lights for 25 poles to buy the stuff? That's to buy this
We would buy.
in-house work category.
Yes, we would buy them and store them hopefully somewhere, but
And
anyway.
buying them is 32.50 for the poles, 4,000 if we had wreaths, 5,000 to replace the
It comes
Mueller
to
snowflakes with stars.
12,250, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then, Mike, is there electrical work for that?
No, these poles all have electric. We don't need to add any electric to what we're doing on the in-house. The poles and the garlands, the only spot where we would, if we took the snowflakes from Wheeler and added them to Bedford, there would be some electrical work to add those snowflakes to Bedford Road. So there was a small part of that electric that would go to add the snowflakes onto Bedford Road that were on Wheeler.
Okay. And so, again, we gotta think, look, I think all of us think what we've had with the snowflakes is a little on the sad side. And I'm first in line to say I don't want Chappaqua to look better than Pleasantville, but they have a lot more taxpayers to pay for it. That's part of our problem. Is it imaginable? I'm not saying what the answer to this is. Essentially, this is like $46,500 in the first year. 15 of that is potentially funded by reduction in your other budget.
Mhm.
So that would be give or take $31,000 or something, and then it's
Mhm.
24,200 every year thereafter. Do you think that your budget would stay in the 20 range going forward?
I don't think we can go much lower than that. You know why? Because everything keeps going.
No,
up.
I know, but I mean, do you think,
Oh, but
would
when
you
it
want to
goes
bounce back to 35?
5,000 is what
I
we're.
don't think so unless we really came in and said, oh.
Yeah,
we
we're on a
want to do
recorded
something.
line, you realize.
Yes, it probably would.
It probably would go back up.
No,
It would,
probably
yeah,
could
so,
stay there.
so that 24,000-ish annual contract over 3 years is significantly funded by a reduction in other stuff. So is it possible, again, I'm not saying what the answer is, and we've got to work through a whole bunch of other things unrelated to you about how much money we can spend. Would it be reasonable to say that the trees and the balls in the trees are kind of priority one? And for example, replacing the Wheeler snowflakes, and maybe that could be phase 2 in next year? I mean, if we were going to make a
Yes.
priority,
Okay, that would be an all right priority. If we
Right.
can do all the other things. Yes.
I mean, it seems,
Oh, no, well, the garlands,
yeah, that's not so big a number, right? I'm just like,
yeah, we really want to, I mean.
I mean, for
can
example, if
still
we-
Because
order-
then you're gonna need money for the fresh garland if you don't get the.
Well, that comes
Right.
out of the budget that we use.
so
for
again, like
holidays.
just for example,
Yeah.
if we did, and I'm not saying we would decide this, maybe we'll feel differently, but if we went for this, but say, okay, let's do the 25 poles with garland and lights, let's not buy the wreaths or the snowflake switch over now, that saves $9,000 out of this number. That might not be, I mean, if we were going to prioritize, that seemed like it might be a pretty good bang for
Okay,
the
I'll
buck.
take that.
All right. Yeah, somewhere, yeah. You had any thoughts, Mike?
No, I'm happy to hear Kathy's willing to compromise.
Well, if we can do the other things, I think those are more important.
I think that
Yeah.
the overall design looks great. I love the
does.
trees and the balls. I think that would be a major upgrade. Yeah.
Mike, on another side note, and for the electrical work, since it's done, could we then use that for when we do our other events, like the block party, if we needed lighting now?
That's a good question.
I want to say yes, but let me just confirm. I don't see why not. But I can definitely shoot an email around to confirm that in the next day or so. But I would say yes.
Because I remember also we had an issue with concern about being able to get electricity out to people, even if we wanted to charge for it, because we just didn't have that much. But this would possibly allow us something, but I guess you'd check on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that could also be a game changer, and that we use this for the other events as well.
Mhm.
So then, just to get some understanding here, so the plantings budget, we would bring down, what did we say, 10,000, 15,000?
It's just,
15 potentially, right? So Kathy, what,
yes.
separate from this, do you have focus for plantings coming year, or just the stuff you always do? Any special, anything?
Nothing really special because we did over the gazebo last year.
yeah.
Mhm.
You know, we're gonna
Oh,
get this
well, we-
year, unrelated to you, we're gonna get this beautiful landscape walkway on the new building next to the post office from Memorial Plaza down to Cooley Street. So that looks like it's gonna be pretty grand, and there'll be a permanent public. So,
Yes, I was gonna say something, but I can't think what it was. Sorry. Oh, well, we've already ordered new planters because we're adding 5 new planters in various places.
the ones that hold the water,
The big ones,
they seem to have worked out well.
Yes, we're doing that. And,
And Kathy, that's before the end of May, right? So that's this current fiscal year?
yes, coming out.
Yes, they're already ordered.
Perfect, yeah.
Let's see, there was something else. I was
You
gonna
said
say.
that the recreation budget can only be used if it's recreational, so Christmas Tree Island.
Recreation fees, it's a separate pot of money.
Right. So is that considered recreation when we have the tree lighting?
No, it has to
Oh, it's
be,
not.
yeah, like playgrounds.
Bricks and mortar stuff. This is money that comes when people create a new housing unit or subdivide a lot, they have to pay into a recreation fund.
Okay.
So, we can use it for building bathroom fields and,
Playground
Okay.
equipment.
Besides the planters, yes, we want to finish the fence area with views. which is pretty costly.
Yeah.
And then basically it's just adding more to what we already have and also planting
Yeah.
the
I mean,
islands.
it looks great. I mean, we're beholden to you for all this work. I mean, oh my God.
So,
How's
do
the
something
Patty
else in
Dwyer?
mind?
No. How's the Patty Dwyer Copper Beach doing? Is it,
I think it's doing very well.
yeah, it seemed like it,
The first year was tough,
right.
touch and go, but now it's
Yeah.
doing very
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Oh, good.
And luckily, we've had a lot of rain this winter.
yeah. For sure. Getting more now. All right, well,
It looks beautiful.
yeah,
I'm
look,
excited to
it's
see
a nice
it.
thing. I think we're
I'm
gonna
just
find,
curious, how do you guys feel about the decorations that are currently in place?
the snowflakes?
Just
Oh, you mean
decorations,
the
not-
plantings in general?
Holiday for the town.
So I have always felt the snowflakes felt sort of paltry.
Yeah,
Was,
well, we had more at one time.
yeah, and then they, they get beat up in the wind, whatever, and we haven't bought more, and, there always been, depending on the year, it's difficult to uncork money to do something like that, but, they stay up well into
Mhm.
the new year and kind of brighten an otherwise dark
We
time,
try to
so,
do that. Even like, I think it's nice to leave them up actually until March because
yeah.
the winter is usually dreary.
Does this contract allow us to do that with this service provider, or is there some specific time frame?
Where the snowflakes hang up,
Yeah, well, no, if we did the lights that you proposed,
these,
Neve decor,
these,
no, the other stuff,
oh, all the others.
yeah, the tree wrapping and the balls.
You know, Mike, did they specify?
We didn't get into that, and it's not like we've like zeroed in on one company. We reached out to 3 companies. I can reach out and specify timing wise. I don't think that'll impact anything as far as pricing, because it's really just it's when they're coming in to put them in and when they're coming to take them down.
Yeah.
So I'll
Great.
double check, but as far as pricing, I don't think that'll impact. So I think it's really up to us when we want it down.
Personally, I mean, I'll only speak for myself and you two can speak up. As I said before, it's nice to have the lights in the winter.
I agree.
And they're not
Because it gets dark. so early.
Christmas or holiday, they're just
No,
lights.
they're lovely.
And they just add an ambiance.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
town
that's
where we're
true.
Getting more restaurants, it's just nice for people to walk around and.
come out of a movie or a restaurant at night
Exactly, and
and
it looks like,
place is alive.
yeah.
What time do Mike, what time do they turn off at night?
I believe we had them currently going off at 10. I know that's the tree was, I think, 10.
Okay, I thought it was.
But I mean, that's flexible. We could
Right.
decide
Yeah, we
whatever we
should
want.
Oh,
Super nice.
absolutely. Yeah.
Last movies getting
I
out.
think also with the new development and there's gonna be more people walking in the downtown area, it's nice to have things to
Actually, in the
kind of
winter,
bring
people
more
do
life.
walk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the other
It's a
thing,
walking village. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, the other thing is, we did this year is the contest. The store contest.
Yeah, right.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was a great job.
And we had a really nice trophy. I think you probably all saw it. If you didn't, I can.
It's on display in the Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to get it because we're going to have it engraved every year with the winner on it.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be a
Mm.
perpetual trophy,
oh, that's clever.
which is really nice.
Like the Stanley
I think
Cup.
this year, we can announce it sooner. I think we get more
Yeah,
stores if we
But
announce it
believe it or
sooner.
not,
The problem is they don't decorate soon.
Right, but I do know, so I'm the vice president of the chamber, and we didn't hear about it till like right when it was about to start putting in.
but you know why? Because we started late this year. We
Right.
came to the idea, but once we got into it, it was amazing. Every week it seemed like we had more and more
Yeah,
stores.
yeah.
I think we
So
got a
I
lot.
think people are into it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm, yeah.
I totally agree.
and it's another
That's
way
fun.
of getting people to go into the stores, walk the village,
Mhm,
see the decorations.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're trying.
great.
You're succeeding in so many ways, so
Mhm.
thank you for that.
Now, can you tell us how you all feel about something like this proposal?
Oh,
I mean,
feel
if
good
money
about
were
it.
no
Yeah.
object, we should absolutely do it. And I think what you're hearing from us is we're certainly going to do some of it. If we might have to nip and tuck a little in order to
I mean, I
do
think-
this sequentially, but it's,
I feel like the compromise that you've proposed seems like a good compromise to me. I mean, the fact that you guys are willing to take a bit of reduction on your budget this year, I feel like really shows good faith on your part, We appreciate that. We don't get that from everyone, so.
we can use you as an example. Well,
I
beautification offered.
but I mean, overall, I'm in favor of it personally.
Same, they can, I think we can make it look more beautiful, I
Yeah.
think. And like we said, we don't want Chappaqua looking better than us easily like that.
And
Like
they
to do
were really
something.
pretty sensational, I have to say, but.
They do, as I already mentioned, however, have a whole lot more people to pay for it.
Yeah.
That's part of the advantage they have over us. I think
It's
so.
more of a walking village, and that's why it behooves us to really make it look spectacular as best we can. And
Well, and we have a nightlife, so.
Yeah, we're livelier,
Right.
you know, it's a different vibe.
I
Yeah.
think the lights are great and I support them. I would say that I think that probably this year and the last couple of years are different from the past in the sense that Jews have been attacked. There was a National Day of Hate just very recently, which fortunately passed without incident. That people are more sensitive to things that are truly religious symbols. And if we're not going to put up menorahs or we're not going to put up any other things, we should stick to things that are clearly not religious. That's the only thing I would say. And I totally understand historically, I grew up with it too. I know I've seen nativity scenes around, you know, I know that that's sort of the standard, but I think that we have to be cognizant that we're not in the same world. Unfortunately, there's a lot more hate out there than there was before.
All right,
okay.
thank you so much.
For
Thank
having
you.
us and listening to our proposal.
Much appreciated.
Gonna look great.
And how soon do you think we might hear?
So within a couple of weeks, for sure,
Okay.
we're working our way through. Now we're gonna bother Mike about his budget, and we're working our way through each department. Eric and Noreen and the team have already got a draft. And I think, you know, we're in the ballpark already, so
Okay,
clearly we can do a significant amount of this.
all right.
That's wonderful, thank you.
All right,
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks all go towards you.
If you make this happen this year, let's do a lighting.
I'm sorry.
Let's do a lighting for the new lights and make it a thing.
Oh, like an event.
Yeah, an event.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Well, at one time, I thought it'd be so nice to have, let's say, we mention the winter, the night of the Christmas tree lighting, and then people would walk down to the tree lighting, but that didn't really happen this year.
But it might happen
But
in,
we could have it maybe.
right,
We
we
could do
got a
something
head
like
start
that,
on it.
yeah.
It's only March. so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great, thank you, guys.
very much. Thank you.
All right, Mike, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Are you ready to confront your budget?
I'm ready as I'll be.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen. All right. All right, so I'm starting on the expense side.
Yep.
Administration is obviously a fixed number. Part-time coverage, kind of a similar number to every year. It's a small line item. Overtime line item. We need to, you know, you set a good example for Grutzner here on the overtime.
Yeah.
Sick bonus, retirement payout, vacation buyback, nothing, conference and training. Certainly support that. Telephone, supplies, vehicle repair and maintenance, gas and diesel, outside service. Anybody have questions, pipe up. It
No,
all
pretty
seems pretty straightforward. Capture point working well, do you think?
Yes,
You're happy with it?
I'm very happy. I've always had a fairly good response when we have any issues or need some additional support in creating new registration or adding specialty parts to it. So yes, I'm still happy with them.
So then the credit card fees got broken out for each category,
Yeah, so
The expenses.
right?
Or the fee calcs.
All right. Parks administration, the staff. Looking for an increase in part-time seasonal.
Yep, so we're running on an additional, we want to bring on an additional part-time to help with downtown garbage is the main thing. We've made an effort to have our guys during the winter time and, early spring and late fall when we don't have part-timers to be more active downtown, hitting downtown almost every morning. We'd like to continue that as our season gets busier and add a part-timer to help continue to mainly focus on the downtown garbage.
So is that mostly summer or,
The part-timer?
yeah, the extra
Yeah,
part-time?
so it'd be an additional employee to help us during our busy time so that we can still dedicate someone to the downtown garbage. And as the summer and our ball fields start to wind down a little bit, we can pick up with our full-time staff.
Okay. All right. So that's an additional 12,000 over the current budget. Parks overtime stays basically where it is. Equipment. Nothing in the equipment line? What's going on with that?
Not asking for anything large.
Oh, so Mike, just, Mr. Mayor, that was, the piece of equipment we got, the Bobcat that we got last year,
Okay,
which was also supported by a grant.
right. So no significant new equipment purchase.
Nope.
Okay, supplies jumping up a bit based on just higher cost for things, or are we doing more?
Higher cost, and then I'm asking for a new, I would like 10 grand to put towards the dog park. What I'm hoping to do is kind of revitalize the dog park with some new equipment. That's where that 10 grand would go. I'm also looking to redo to repair the current fencing and add some fencing. What I'd like to do is split the dog park into two areas, a large dog and small dog area. This is based on a lot of feedback and calls over the last couple of years that I've gotten about the dog park. And at the very least, it does need a facelift.
So would that be two separate entrances, one for small dogs, one for large?
Yep.
So each side would be half the current dog park?
Yeah, basically, it's just about half. I think the large dog area would be slightly bigger, but essentially splitting it in half.
Why does it sound like a bullfighting arena to me? No?
So, I have gotten some complaints that it ends up, sometimes being overtaken by, contract dog walker people who bring a lot of dogs.
Yeah, I heard that
Has
too.
that been an issue?
Yeah, I've heard that it has been an issue. I mean, we've shooed. I know there's one particular dog walker. I know we've shooed her away when we can, but I don't. I mean, we have rules stated. I'm sorry if I don't have it right off the top of my head, but I believe it's no more than 3 dogs per person. Clearly, she violates it, but we don't really have an avenue to.
Yeah. I mean,
discourage it.
that has been at the level of an annoyance as opposed to a crisis, I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right. And so is the 10,000 the fencing and this new equipment, or is it mostly
No,
fencing?
so the 10,000 would be new equipment. So currently we have some, which I believe was built and donated by the Boy Scouts, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, you're
But
not
it's
wrong.
it's pretty beat up. So I just went online, looked at a couple different, dog park equipment, and that would just get us a couple things for each side when we split, if we split.
All right. So is this proposed increase to 50,000 also includes the fencing?
The fencing would be
Somewhere
coming,
else?
that would be coming out of repairs and maintenance.
All right.
And
So
that's and what we've done the last couple of years and a few years before me, we've set aside about 15,000 in repairs and maintenance to rehab and update any fencing. So we're adding that again this year, and part of that would go towards the dog park. The other portion would be to rehab the batting cage on Parkway Field.
Okay. So utilities are about the same as projected this year. I guess the biggest number of that are the field lights, right?
Yes.
All right, so repairs and maintenance here. The total is 25, which is about what we've had in the past. 10 is
Yep.
for the, so that's not an increase. You're proposing to rehab the fencing at the batting cage and the dog park within a similar number to the past.
Correct, because we had set aside, the last couple of years has been 15 grand set aside for fence rehab work. So I don't need to necessarily, I'm not looking to increase it, just continue it.
All right, so vehicle repair and maintenance up a bit over this year, although not over the budget that we had. The watering truck still got some life in it?
Well, still got a little life in it. I know there's a couple different scenarios depending on what DPW does in the future, as far as we may be inheriting a truck from them. So
And
that's
move the
still
tank to it?
correct. But that still remains
Right.
to be seen. You know, the other truck that is, on its last leg would be 47.
Or 37? That's the 2006, right? 47, it says, is a 2017.
I'm sorry, 37. I'm sorry.
Yeah. When you say last legs, how close to the end do you think it is? Like you're gonna,
If we're going to try to get one more year out of it, and then we
Yeah.
seriously need to put some money aside for a new truck. Had Mike Bornowski give us a report on it. It's on its last leg.
okay. Gas and diesel, pretty straightforward. Outside service, so what's going on there?
Outside, sir. Well,
Going up
Porta Johns
double.
have gone up. JP McHale has gone up. I'm asking for a little less money than I did last year as far as mulch for playgrounds. I think last year I asked for 10. I'm asking for 8. I'm sorry. The bigger thing is having a consultant come in and give us some designs and options for a new parks building, park garage in the back. Currently, we're in the old shooting range. If you haven't been back there, you should take a look. It's an older building. We're housing thousands of dollars of equipment. I think we need to start thinking about and getting some ideas of replacing that building. It doesn't, water floods into it. We don't really have a way of keeping the water out. Talking with Anthony, he suggested, and talking with Eric too, that we get a consultant to come in and give us some different options, and at least start exploring a replacement.
Makes sense. You agree, Eric?
Yeah, we can
Okay.
look at whether it's gonna cost 25,000 to engage that consultant, but the idea is the right one.
And I mean, in the end, obviously, I have to defer to the consultant, but it might be a sort of a Butler building type building, right?
Correct.
Right. All right. Install holiday lights on trees.
That's just the holiday tree. As this holiday, as this other project that Kathy put forward, I can probably tie that into whoever does the lighting work for us by putting up the lights that we currently have on the Christmas tree, holiday tree. But if not, then that's
I don't
what
know.
it costs.
Mario's pretty invested there.
He is, but he didn't put those lights up, and I think it looked great. So I'd like to continue to use as much as those guys can handle it. As that tree grows, we want someone who's done this multiple times to put the lights on the tree.
All right. So as any field lights, big ticket item, uniforms, obviously straightforward. Rec center, telephone alarm system, maintenance contracts. Utilities, nothing too much to talk about there.
So this is, it's coded as a recreation facility, but this is where PCTV is housed.
And this piece of it is just the ACTV side, or does it also include the water department side?
Both sides.
Okay, so that, because the water department's in the back. All right. So that's all pretty straightforward. The roof is on the capital
Correct.
plan.
Yeah.
That's what, 80,000-ish?
Correct.
Okay. Part-time, similar number to the past, up a little bit. Pool overtime. Raising training a bit, incentive
Well,
program.
it's the I'm asking for the same amount. We just didn't use it all last year. The hope is to try to have at least 10 new guards come on board, and recert at least 10, and then reimburse them as they commit to us for the season at the end of the season.
Okay,
I'm hearing interest in that this year. I would totally give you my kid, but he's not old enough yet.
Well, we're getting a lot of people calling about how old, and I can only
Yeah.
take so many 15-year-old lifeguards.
Yeah.
all right, pool supplies up a little bit, but not too much. Utilities up a bit. Repair and maintenance, down a bit, you think?
Yeah, I mean, we had big expenses as far as electrical work that hopefully we're not going to run into this next time around. We moved the current electrical panel up even higher in the pump room. That was a large expense. We're tackling a couple projects right before we open, so hopefully, this pool's the gift that keeps on giving, as we all know. So you never know, but I think we're addressing some of the things that could be issues right now.
All right, makes sense. All right, Board of Health permits, water expense, pretty much fixed in place. Software support expense, that's the pool piece of Capture Point, right?
Yep.
Here's the credit card fees specific to this division. Pool part-time, bigger number? Increasing the payment to coaches?
Well, yeah. So swim team we're on?
Yep.
Yep. Swim team. The swim team group has come to me, pleading to increase their assistance. They're having a hard time finding assistance. Just asking around to other communities. At our current rate, we weren't the lowest, but we weren't necessarily the highest either. I made it clear to the swim team that we can't compete with these private swim clubs, but giving them, I think they were asking me for about 18. I'm suggesting 17 should help us, hopefully maintain a couple of our coaches and easier to find a couple more. We did increase the fees for swim team, so that should help offset any increases we made.
Okay. All right. Camp, you're basically projecting similar numbers in pretty much all categories as last year.
Yeah, I mean,
Transportation up, obviously.
Yeah, and I mean, we won't know for sure. The bid's out, so fingers crossed it comes in a little less. But yeah.
Okay.
So the scholarship projection is based on.
It's in here.
Yeah, no, I
Line
see it.
400, right?
Yeah. It's what we allocated last year.
Okay, the 15,000
Yes.
Yeah, we allocated 15, only 8,500 was
was
used.
spent,
Right.
and we're going to request 15 again.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Adapted Recreation Services, Northeast Special Recreation, pretty much the same. Not too much to talk about on the next page. $1,000 worth of derby fish. Outside service for special events up a bit.
Yeah, increased, basically, the rides and entertainment for Ragamuffin. After seeing last year, I think we need to expand into the whole plaza. So just looking to get a couple more rides or entertainment for Ragamuffin to make it a little bit bigger,
Okay.
so that we're not overrun.
Okay. All right. Preschool programs, pretty much similar to last year, outside service up a bit. Youth programs. Looking for a bigger number in youth programs part-time for, that's trying to offer more middle school programs.
Yeah, so over the years, we've been approached about middle school programs, and I feel like more so the last few years. We had a meeting with a resident and a teacher, who's also a teacher at the middle school, to discuss middle school programs and, you know, kind of what they want. So we're looking for money to try to give this a go. We're looking to run middle school programs after school. We're going to try for 2 days a week, for three seasons. So, you know, see if it sticks. I mean, there has
And
been
that's
interest.
offset?
I've gotten calls.
Offset by some revenue.
Yes, that'll be offset by fees.
Okay, so then bouncing down in that same line, outside service, winter and spring bake camps, et cetera. That number is up a lot. What's that?
That's, you know, that's outside vendors that come in to do, so we try to use as many people on payroll for after school clubs, but, you know, we're using more and more companies like, for example, we use Chess Wizards to do chess. Typically the outside vendors, it's an 80-20 split. So if we take the registration, we're paying them out 80% of what we bring in. So, you know, just trying to cover and be able to do a couple,
Right.
Each session of outside vendors.
Again, offset by revenue.
Correct.
All right. Panther Club. Increasing base staff by $2 an hour.
Yep.
And
Looking
do
to
you-
just help recruit. I mean, this year, Laura's got a huge stack of interviews and no shows. And, you know, when we tried to, you know, even before we made the increase, we were having a hard time finding staff, just hoping that might entice some more people to come on board and stay with us. I think
Right.
current staff would appreciate the increase and likelihood to stick around a little bit longer.
Fully understood. So do these numbers assume you stay at the enrollment level you're at right now?
Yes.
And do you anticipate that I mean, you still have some people who haven't been able to be accommodated this year, right?
Yeah, each month we're still trying to accommodate more. This week, I'm actually going to be looking to try to get a few more into April, because we will have some space on some given days. But yeah, the list, I want to say it's still at like 25.
And Go ahead.
Sorry, one more question on that, Michael. Are you getting to the point where administration is an issue?
Not at this point. The bigger issue is just the grouping and the sizing. So, you know, we can only have groups of 20, unlike camp where I could have a group of 35 and have 5 counselors in it. So, you know, grouping it and then trying to add kids, if like there's already 40 third graders, you know, adding one more third grader, it gets difficult. And then you're breaking the group into 3. It just kind of complicates the whole thing. So at the moment, no, administration wise, we have our full-time employee, Laura, and currently still have 2 site supervisors, and that's worked out well.
Okay, thank you.
all right. So otherwise it looks pretty straightforward. It's a steep climb to run it, and we thank you for the good work you do.
Thank you.
All right. Similar numbers for adult programs, outside service a bit up.
Yeah, just to cover, you know, I don't know Mom's Bingo, which was a great hit at the restaurant this year. Just covering in case they increase us a little bit. You know, we were able to take registration. I think we had it open for 125. We had 116 moms at Mom's Bingo. So I envision that still to be a very popular program going forward.
Okay. All right, so beautification, we had this conversation earlier.
Yeah, this section is not updated to reflect the 25,000 for plantings and the 46,450.
Or 20 for plantings conceivably.
20 for plantings. just
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah, so that would, we had that conversation. Okay, shade trees. Obviously you never quite know, right? That's a bit of a shot in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, we're out to bid. Our contract is up with our current vendor, so we're out to bid on that. And then we, just broke it down. We have 50/50 trees come out of that, our arborist services, and tree treatments to the few trees in the plaza and the holiday tree
Right.
treatments.
You think we're spending enough money on trees, or do we need to amp it up at some point?
I think, you mean 50/50s or just in general, or?
Just in all of the above.
I mean, the biggest thing I'm seeing, and I'm 2 years into this, is the amount of trees that come to us as far as issues and takedown is just, seems like every week we're discussing or having the arborist take a look at trees to potentially come down. We're pushing the 50/50 tree program more, but again, we're also a little handcuffed to how many we can plant within our schedule.
Understood.
We're looking at, I mean, this won't necessarily totally answer this issue, but we met recently with Mike and Mario with the committee that's working on putting a tree ordinance together. And part of the tree ordinance would generate some more money for planting trees. And one of the ideas that we came up with in talking to Mike and Mario was having an event or two a year when during which the trees that we would be able to buy wholesale. So we're talking about relatively small trees like 1.5 to 2 inch in diameter, that we would be able to allow residents at drastically reduced fees. So they would be paying like 10% of the tree or something like that to order them ahead of time. And then we would have an event where they could pick them up, and we would try to sort of generate a lot of publicity and attention around that to really sort of create some momentum around planting trees, because it's certainly the case that there are all these mature trees that are starting to age out in certain parts of, some of them are already gone, right? In certain parts of Pleasantville. So I think we're talking a lot about, long-term, short-term and long-term, how to replace some of that canopy and how to maintain the existing canopy.
All right, so that sounds good. All right, so we're on the revenue side. Obviously, the revenue fees for youth programs after school, BRS, that includes the new middle school stuff.
Yep.
So. All right, assuming a little gentle growth in pool revenues. All right, anybody else have further questions?
Do you still love the job?
I do.
That's the right answer.
I get nervous about stuff like this, but you guys have made it pretty easy.
Well, you made it easy on us.
I wanted to comment that Mike did an awesome job in his interview I did for The More You Know. He laid out all the different things that his department does and all the events that are coming up. So I think it went great. That should be coming out this week, that episode, and we can share it to the village because it talks a lot about the pool, camp, and all the following events that go all the way up to September we went.
That's great.
That's
Yep.
awesome. If you create
Thank you.
some little clips, we can forward them on social as
Yeah.
well.
All together, it's like a 15-minute all together. And
And I heard
it's not long.
you're going to be starting up Conjunction Junction as well.
Yeah. Well, Chief did also great. I interviewed him, so he did one, Aaron did one, and Anthony did one. So those are the ones that I've done so far.
That's
So,
great.
everyone came out great.
All right, thank you for doing that. Trustee
Yep.
Alvarez.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
We're a little late, Chief, but
Thanks,
we're
Mike.
back.
Yes.
That's practice. Yeah,
Right,
that's
so-
above that funded issue.
So. Right. So we're gonna look in Joe. Yep.
Or will we do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, you're Senate number
Shall we
77.
turn the vote?
Oh, yeah. I would love to show.
No, no, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, go ahead and go out.
You're gonna be about where you
Yeah.
participate in doing that other stuff. Yes, yeah.
Right.
Okay. And in the resolution, you just said what.
Yeah.
Swearing in ceremony for 2 police officers.
Yes.
Are these the 2 hires that we discussed before? For the minute done?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I missed the police budget. How'd that
Yeah.
go? Yeah. What's the vehicle purchase plan now?
It was the vehicle purchase initially.
Was the hybrid.
Questions.
I talked to somebody who, that's different. Because we used to couldn't see if they have, so there was that one with their mom. Not here in the Midwest.
Well, there's no doubt there's some. All right. Welcome. All right, we're ready to start. Good evening, all. We're departing our work session and entering the regular session for the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Monday, March 13th. Our next regular meeting is 2 weeks from today on Monday, March 27th, a work session at 7, a regular meeting at 8. As is always the case, you can pick up a Zoom link for our work session and a regular meeting at pleasantville-ny.gov. You are also welcome to join us here in person at Village Hall, 80 Wheeler Avenue. So we have a long agenda of things tonight, but none more important than the 2 first items for the evening, which is the swearing in of 2 new police officers for the Village of Pleasantville. So I invite Chief Eric Grutzner to introduce this auspicious occasion.
Good evening, Mayor Scheer, Village Trustees, Village Administrator Morrissey, members, family, and friends of the Pleasantville Police Department, and the Pleasantville community. I'm before the board tonight to make recommendations for the hiring of 2 new police officers. This may seem familiar as the department has been hiring officers more frequently than usual the last few years. In every organization, change is inevitable, especially in personnel, and each new hire represents a unique opportunity for growth. While tonight is ultimately about Jonathan Garcia and Isael Rivera, our 2 newest officers, I would be remiss if I did not recognize how their hiring continues the pattern here in the police department. We feel very fortunate that tonight's recommendations are 2 more examples of extremely talented and personable officers joining our ranks. Lieutenant Woolman, Lieutenant Gilmartin, and I take the responsibility of selecting candidates very seriously. We look for a number of personal qualities, but in the end, we want officers who will proactively contribute to achieving our common goals. We look for officers who will serve with integrity and compassion. In short, we look for officers who the community will be proud to support. We believe we have accomplished that both tonight and in the hires that preceded them. For our newer officers, we want them to grow into the position. We want them to take ownership and recognize that their police career is what they make it. For the officers with more experience, we look forward to the benefit of their contributions and knowledge and hope they recognize the benefits of our strong and positive culture. First of all, Jonathan Garcia, who comes to us after serving for more than 6 years in a larger urban police department. Most recently, he was assigned to the Emergency Services Unit. In police work, ESU responds to calls that require a higher level of technical skill. He is also a New York State certified EMT and has received numerous awards for life-saving and meritorious police work. At his previous job, Jonathan earned the respect of his coworkers and the community through his dependability, his approachability, and his commitment to ethical police work. Many of the people we spoke to during his background investigation commented on his ability to stay calm even in difficult circumstances. We are thankful for the opportunity to bring his unique skill set here to Pleasantville. Our second new hire tonight, Isael Rivera, also began his career in a larger department. In his 2+ years there, his personality and passion for police work were evident to everyone with whom he came in contact. He became known for a thoroughness and attention to detail that belies his age and time on the job. He's a certified bicycle patrol officer and has participated in crisis intervention training. As has been our practice, we give extra weight to personnel recommendations made by officers who already work here, and Isael received an unconditional recommendation from one of our own. We are confident that he will fit in seamlessly. In conclusion, I can say with confidence that through their work ethic, interpersonal skills, and determination, both Jonathan and Isael have earned the right to be very choosy in their career paths. It is not an overstatement to say that given the opportunity, both would have had their pick of police departments to join. We are grateful that they have chosen to come here. Before I finish, I would like to thank everyone in Village Hall who assisted in this process. Treasurer Noreen Regan and Village Administrator Eric Morrissey both provided important insight and great assistance. Most notably, I would like to thank Alyssa Hochstein for her diligence, her patience, and her cooperation throughout the process. We would literally not be here tonight without your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I echo all of those words, and in particular, thanks to you, to Lieutenant Wellman, to Lieutenant Gilmartin, and to the entire force, a number of whom have joined us here tonight. It's a happy occasion to renew our force with new folks, and a particularly happy occasion to renew our force with folks who come so highly recommended with such stellar background. So can I invite Jonathan to join us first for the swearing in? And perhaps your family would like to join you. Your wife, Maria, Oliver and Olivia are with us. All right, fine. 25 years we'll be swearing you in. If you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jonathan Garcia,
I, Jonathan Garcia,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the codes of the Village of Pleasantville,
Code of the Village of Pleasantville,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of police officer
the duties of police officer
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Thank you, sir. Welcome to the Pleasantville Police Force. Who will take the risk of putting Jonathan and your entire family, welcome to our family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Isael, please join us. You have family members you'd like to join us here? Girlfriend Michaela, your mother, who else is here? Come on. Welcome. Would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Isael Rivera,
I, Sal Rivera,
do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United
I will
States,
support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the codes of the Village of Pleasantville,
and the Code of the Village of Pleasantville,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of police officer
the duties of police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Welcome, sir. Charge of this. You don't want to ruin a good suit.
No. There you go. Nice.
Jonathan. Welcome to the Pleasantville family. We are delighted to have you here. Thank you, Chief. And we'll get these resolutions about them. So we're going to go out of order as we sometimes do and do the first two resolutions to make this official. And then you're more than welcome to listen to the rest of our boring meeting. But we hope and expect that you'll celebrate with you and your family and your new colleagues this happy day. Paul, resolution number 52.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees, based upon the recommendation of the Chief of Police, hereby appoints Jonathan Garcia as police officer, job title 134, police officer, 3rd grade, at a salary of $83,688, effective March 14th, 2023. Said appointment is subject to a probationary period of a minimum of 52 weeks. It can be extended to a maximum not to exceed 78 weeks.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Welcome, Jonathan. Number 53, Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees, based upon the recommendation of the Chief of Police, hereby appoints Isael to, doesn't have your whole name, Rivera, to police officer, job title code 0134, police officer, 4th grade, at a salary of $76,802, effective March 14th, 2023. Said appointment is subject to a probationary period of a minimum of 52 weeks and can be extended to a maximum not to exceed 78 weeks.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to the ranks of Pleasantville. All right. You're welcome to head elsewhere. You're also welcome to stay, but it's not too exciting. Thank you all.
Hey, Bill.
I just sent you an email from my.
Okay, you got it, thanks. Great. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
People want to make.
No, we don't normally do that.
I mean, in general, like beginning of.
Oh, no, we'll do that for sure. All right, happy event. Now, back to our regular order of business. I had a few announcements to make. The first is that our police chief, Eric Rutzner, who just departed with his staff, is in the happy circumstance of being the first honoree of the Nicholas Center for their annual gala. The Nicholas Center has a significant operation here in the village of Pleasantville, and they're also involved. It's the entity that operates Spectrum Designs, a whole series of great programs to provide training and education and job opportunities for folks with special needs. Chief Grutzner and his whole force have been very responsive to the Nicholas Center and to the folks at Spectrum Designs. And we congratulate Chief Grutzner for having been honored in that way as the first honoree at their annual spring gala. So congratulations to the chief, well deserved. A couple of other points to be made. Our village election takes place on March 21. There are 2 trustee seats and the village justice seat up for election. If you take a look at pctv76.org, there are some interviews being done by the editor of the Examiner, Martin Wilbur, if you're interested in learning more about the candidates. And I believe that there is also an article and profile of the candidates for village justice. So please mark your calendar to vote on March 21st in the village election. couple of other things to report for folks that may be interested. As you perhaps know, we have scheduled the Pleasantville Music Festival for the second Saturday in July. That's July 8th, I think. Have I got that right? But in anticipation of that, the folks who run the music festival have launched an announcement about the annual Battle of the Bands. This year, the sponsor of the Battle of Bands is the Garage at Lucy's right here, our own business right around the corner from Village Hall. They will be the venue for a competition. The annual competition, now in the 7th year, gives young up-and-coming musicians a chance to play for a big audience. Any performers ages 24 and under from Westchester, Rockland, Putnam, Fairfield, or Bergen County, or the Bronx are invited to submit, and finalists will compete before a panel of judges at Lucy's in the spring. And the winner of that, 3 winning acts will be chosen, and they will open each of the festival stages, the main stage, the chill tent, and the party stage. So it's a whole lot of fun. More information is available always at pleasantvillemusicfestival.com, as well as an opportunity for folks to buy tickets in advance. So pleasantvillemusicfestival.com, mark your calendars for July 8th. This week is also a big birthday. That would be 126. On March 16th, a little later this week, the Village of Pleasantville celebrates its 126th birthday. That's the 126th anniversary of the incorporation of the village as an entity. So I imagine great festivities will be planned in most Pleasantville households. And I encourage you to.
We're going to your house.
Exactly right. Other folks have an announcement of any kind? Want to
I
report?
do have a couple.
Okay.
Number one, Con Ed has advised that they're doing a gas main replacement on Wheeler Avenue beginning of April. So that'll be between Jackson Avenue and Bedford Road, and have to close parking spaces as they work through that block. We'll also go to Bedford and make a left up to Tompkins. So this is a very old gas main that has been giving them trouble, so they have to replace it. The Vanville Road project right now is set to start up April 3rd. That's subject to the weather, but right now it was originally March 20th, and Mother Nature has reared her head, so now we're pushing that back.
Okay.
So that obviously is going to be an unhappy couple of months of work on Wheeler Avenue with Con Ed tearing it up in various places. So
Absolutely.
a painful process, but let me also say it's probably a necessary project. I know a couple of businesses that depend on gas service have been knocked out of business for a couple of weeks over the last year or more by gas problems, and the uncertainty of reliable gas service has been a very significant problem. So Con Ed will repave curb to curb.
Correct, curb to curb.
All right. Paul, why don't you report your new PCTV series?
Oh, yes. So, in an effort to get more information out to the Pleasantville residents in collaboration with PCTV, I've started a new show that's it's called The More You Know. And I essentially interview different heads of the different departments in Pleasantville. We've already done an interview with the rec department, DPW, police department, also the village administrator. So we've got those interviews in place. I also did a segment on the upcoming election that's already out. It's already shared on PCTV. It's also on social media. So we want to get some information overall when the election is, what the time is at 3 different locations where the polls will be, and also the candidates. You can go there, and then from there you can get more information as to each candidate. So be on the lookout. If anyone has any other topics that they'd like for us to cover, just feel free to reach out to me, to the village, and then I will look into doing that. I plan on doing more interviews with a couple other departments as well, just to get a lot more information out there. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, Paul. Again, it's pctv76.org, where you can pick that stuff up. And I think we're linking back to that also on our village Facebook page as well. So,
Oh, I have one piece, which is that we received an additional $5,000 grant from New York State for our Climate Smart community. And we are allocating 2,200 of that to buying electric landscape equipment for our Parks Department, which is in the process of converting from gas to electric landscape equipment. And then the remainder will go towards a campaign to help educate residents about various kinds of ways to save energy, things that people can do to shrink their own carbon footprint. But there's also a lot of money being made available right now through the state and on the federal level. And there's a lot to educate people about. So we're going to be working on that as well.
All right. Good stuff going on.
Mhm.
All right. With that, is there any comment from a member of the public, either here or via Zoom? Check the Zoom here. All right, I see no hands up. All right, then we'll head back to our resolutions and pick up with David, number 54.
Resolve the Board of Trustees hereby approves the minutes of the regular meeting held on February 27th, 2023, which are attached.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or corrections? All in favor? Aye, motion approved. Number 55, back to you, Paul.
Result of the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following budget amendments for the fiscal year of 2023 as listed below. 4,360 from A 1325.455 bank fees to the account 1681-200 technology and equipment. 5,000 from account A 3620.101 safety inspection part-time to A 3620.488 safety inspection software. 2,394.38 cents from A 7110.200 parks and equipment to A 7220.200 pool equipment. $273.57 from A 722.406 pool supplies to A 7220.200 pool equipment. $8,285.05 from the A 7220.417 pool repairs to A 722.200 pool equipment for a total of $20,313. Budget transfer for the water fund before it was the general fund. 1,869 from the account F 8310.455 financial admin bank fees to F 8310.200 technology equipment. $99 from F 8340.430 distribution patching to F 8320.447 S&P NP postage. $282 from account F 8340.430 distribution patching to F 8320.405 SPNP telephone for a total of $2,250.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments, questions? All pretty straightforward, all in favor? Aye, motion approved. 56, Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the abstract for payment of claims dated March 13th, 2023 for a fiscal year ending in 2023, covering check numbers 106,554 to 106,707. From the general fund, $340,342.13 from the special purpose fund, $75 from the water fund, $173,241.86 from the capital fund, $17,284 from the refuse fund, $28,097.22 for a total of $559,040.21.
Is there a second?
Second.
As is always the case, if you're interested in the detail, you can go to our Novus agenda. You can get to it through the pleasantville-ny.gov and click into this line, payment of claims or wire fees, and see all the detail. Comments or questions? All in favor? Aye, motion approved. David, 57.
Result the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the following fee and tuition rates for the 2023 Village Summer Camp. There are two sessions. The first session is June 26th to July 14th. The second session from July 17th to August 4th. For Tiny Tots, the resident fee for either session 1 or session 2 is $340. The school district fee, so people who do not live in the village of Pleasantville, that'd be $450 for either session. For both sessions, the residence fee is $600 and the school district fee is $800. For the junior camp, resident fee for either session is $300. School district fee for either session is $410. For both sessions, the resident fee is $430. The school district fee is $695. For senior camp, for either session, the resident fee is $615 and the school district fee is $780. For both sessions, the resident fee is $1,060, the school district fee $1,210. For the teen travel camp, for either session, the resident fee is $1,435, the school district fee is $1,600. And for both sessions, the resident fee is $2,425. The school district fee is $2,590.
Is there a second?
Second.
So as perhaps you know, kids who go to school together ought to be able to participate in summer programs together. The reason the school district, but a non-resident fee is higher is that residents are already funding our rec department and programs through their property taxes. Folks in the school district outside the village are not. So that is accounting for the difference, but all are welcome and we encourage everybody to sign up. Comments, questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion approved. 58. Paul.
Result of the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the following 2023 pool permit fees. Early bird, April 17th through April 30th for a family. It's $400. Is that outside the 440, I guess?
Yes.
Okay. Outside of the village is 440. Individual is $200. Outside of the village is $220. For senior citizens, it's $75 in the village. Outside of village residents, $85. There's now a guest pack that you could buy a 10 guest pack for $90. Guest fee is $10 per person. There's also a 10 pack day passes for $180. Non-resident, all addresses outside of Pleasantville zip code 10570 for a family, it's $660. For an individual, it's $305. For a senior citizen, it's $110.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm glad we added that 10-pack day class.
Motion approved. 59, Nicole.
Okay, sorry, it's being slow. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to sign the agreement with OnSolve for Code Red Emergency Notification Services, June 1st, 2023 to May 31st, 2024 for a fee of $5,576.56.
Is there a second?
Second.
So this is the Code Red service that we encourage folks to sign up for at pleasantville-ny.gov in the left-hand column. It is a service that would allow us to reach out to you in whatever ways you choose, email, telephone, cell phone, in the event of an emergency. We don't use it for anything other than emergencies, but it was something that arose out of our experience in Superstorm Sandy, when it was extremely difficult to communicate with folks, especially folks who were out of power or potentially had temporarily moved elsewhere, but needed to know what was going on in the village of Pleasantville. So we very much encourage you to sign up, pleasantville-ny.gov, left column, Code Red. While you're there, click into news and subscribe to news as well. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. David, 60.
Resolve the Board of Trustees hereby accept the resignation of Miriam Meftah, Recreation Assistant, Panther Club, effective November 22nd, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
Again, cleaning up the paperwork for folks who have decided to depart. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 61, Paul.
Resolved the Board of Trustees hereby accepts the resignation of Amanda Colmenares, Recreation Assistant, Panther Club, effective December 16th, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
Same story. Good opportunity to remind folks that obviously the Panther Club jobs are available. We're always looking for more folks. Please contact our rec department if it's of interest. It's the kind of job that has a certain amount of churn because folks move on to going back to school or having a full-time job opportunity. If you're looking for part-time after school work, it's a great and rewarding job. Please contact our rec department. All in favor? Aye, motion approved. Back to you, Nicole, 62.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to sign a sponsorship agreement attached here too with Lucy's for the 2023 Battle of the Bands scheduled for May 7th, 2023 and May 13th, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Shout out again, it's the item I mentioned in announcements, the garage at Lucy's right here at the corner of Wheeler and Bedford has signed on as sponsor of the Battle of the Band, and it will also be the venue for the finals. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 63, David.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the donation of 2 Pleasantville Music Festival tickets for the Pleasantville Middle School PTA.
Is there a second?
Second.
We're happy to provide opportunities for music festival tickets to benefit the PTAs. They use them for various kinds of perks and auctions. All in favor? Aye. Motion approved. 64, same story. Back to you, Paul.
Result that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the donation of 2 Pleasantville Music Festival tickets to the Pleasantville Friends of the Visual Arts. Fuller.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 65, Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to sign the intermunicipal agreement with Westchester County for enhanced 911 services for a 5-year term beginning October 1st, 2020. Says 2022, is that right?
Mhm.
Through December 30th, 2027. The agreement is attached.
Is there a second?
Second.
Anything new about this, Eric?
Nope, it's carrying on a service,
Right.
we already provide, and we've long been a
Right.
partnership.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Aye.
approved. David, 66.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from Colin Higgins, 107 Sarles Lane, to hold a block party and thereby close Congress Street on Saturday, April 1st, 2023 from 2 to 8 p.m.
Is there a second?
Second.
The season of block parties is getting started a little early. We
Yeah.
hope you have a great time. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 67, Paul.
Result the Board of Trustees hereby schedule a public hearing regarding the fiscal year 2024 village budget for April 10th, 2023 at 8 p.m. on the second floor of Village Hall, 80 Wheeler Avenue, Pleasantville, New York, 10570.
Is there a second?
Second.
So the sequence of events for our village budget is that very shortly here in the month of March, the draft budget will be presented. What day, when is that, Eric?
That's gotta be submitted to the village clerk by March 20th.
So by March 20th, Eric and his team and Noreen, our treasurer, will be posting the budget as it stands now, a draft budget for the forthcoming fiscal year. We've been working our way through departmental budgets one by one in work sessions, both before regular meetings and scheduled elsewhere. I think it's fair to say that we're doing okay. One of the painful realities here is that our state mandated pension costs and our healthcare costs are by far the drivers of any of the increases in our budget.
Looks like over half of our increased expenditures are due to those 2 items.
But at any rate, so that will get posted and will be available online at pleasantville-ny.gov after March 20th. You can take a look at that. That isn't the final budget. That's the draft budget. We'll continue to work our way through it. There may be some edits, additions, subtractions in the course of the coming weeks. And the village board will act upon that and adopt a final budget by the end of April. But on April 10th, Eric Morrissey will tell you exactly where we stand in a budget presentation and public hearing.
I may even do it March 27th.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You're going to present the budget the 27th.
Yes.
And the public hearing will follow at the following meeting.
Correct.
That was a better way. Yeah, we had that conversation. So, all right. If you're a budget geek or a civic geek in general, sign on for our next meeting 2 weeks from now. Will the animated GIFs remain?
Of course.
The Patty Dwyer,
Yes.
in memory of Patty Dwyer
That's right.
animated GIFs.
That's right.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. 68.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby reappoints Julie Edwards as library trustee to the Mount Pleasant Library Board retroactive to December 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
Catching up with a reappointment that was due at the beginning of the year. Julie's done a great job. We appreciate her
the
service.
president of the library board.
Yes,
Yeah.
so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. 69, David.
Resolve the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to sign an agreement with DTS Provident Design Engineering for professional engineering services for traffic signal timing and optimization in the amount of $20,100.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Eric, you want to report on this? This is the result of an RFP we put out and the proposed winning bidder.
That's correct. Yep. So we put out an RFP to do a signal timing analysis for the 3 signals that we own on Bedford Road.
That is, just to be clear, we own the signals, we don't own the road.
Correct. Correct.
Just saying.
Right.
Complicated.
So this firm was the low bidder, but they're also very known in Westchester County and Hudson Valley. So I'm highly recommended and look forward to getting this underway.
So there's obviously been a lot of commentary about whether we could improve the synchronization of our signals, whether they were working correctly, whether even we have exactly the right equipment. And clearly, this is a significant step forward to understand all those issues. All in favor? Aye. Motion approved. 70. Whose turn was it?
Fine.
David, Paul.
Whereas the Lighthouse Pleasantville LLC, owner and developer of property located at 52 Diffuse Street, 1 Vanderbilt Avenue, Pleasantville, New York, shown on the town of Mount Pleasant tax map, section 106.05, block 2, lot 1, 2, and 4, submitted to the village a declaration of restrictive covenants, VRC, in connection with land use approvals from the Village Planning Commission by resolution dated March 18, 2020, for a 71-unit rental apartment building, and whereas the approved project includes a requirement that 7 of the 71 units must be deemed restricted as housing that firmly furthers fair housing, AFH, pursuant to Village Zoning Codes Section 185-44, and whereas the DRC includes certain enforcement rights to be extended to the Village of Pleasantville. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Village of Pleasantville Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the mayor or village administrator to execute all documents as may be necessary for the purpose of recording the DRC in the Westchester County Clerk's Office.
Is there a second?
Second.
So this is the step required to establish the restrictive covenants that guarantee that 7 of those 71 units are affordable forevermore.
Correct.
Consistent with our zoning code and consistent with the code that exists in many communities in Westchester County to try to create a new source of affordable housing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 71, Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby accepts a donation in the amount of $2,862 for the purchase and installation of a park bench from the friends and family of Ted and Kathy Gale.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ted and Kathy Gale go back a long way in Pleasantville, New York, and Kathy Gale was a longtime village employee and a both respected professional colleague and a great friend of Pleasantville and many people who live within it. And nothing could be more appropriate than to have those 2 names inscribed on a bench here in Pleasantville, New York, and very much appreciate this donation. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 72, David.
Resolve the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes up to $120,000 for the 2023 Pleasantville Music Festival talent budget, and further resolve that the village administrator is authorized to execute contracts with selected bands.
Is there a second?
Second.
We are finding, as is perhaps apparent in the world, that the music biz has changed. In the world of Spotify and Apple Music and all of the above, bands are more and more dependent on touring revenue, and we're finding higher rates being asked for by many bands. And so we do, as you know, aim to break even on the Pleasantville Music Festival between our revenues and our expenses. It's quite clear that our talent budget has gone up, and we are optimistic that our philanthropic support will also go up. Happy to announce, as we did at the last meeting, that Northwell Health has signed on again to be the primary presenting sponsor. Northwell owns and operates both Phelps in Sleepy Hollow and Northern Westchester Hospital in Mount Kisco. Nothing could be more pleasing than to have them on board as the primary sponsor of the Pleasantville Music Festival. So, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye, motion approved. Back to Paul 73.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village treasurer to create a special purpose account for the police body worn cameras grant funding.
Is there a second? So we've gotten a grant of $20,000. Am I right, Eric? That will go toward the expense of providing body worn cameras for our police department. We've been talking about this for a while, and an annual review of that was something that we established during the police reform process that New York State asked us, all communities, to involve themselves in. We went through the police budget a week or so ago with Chief Gretzner, Lieutenant Willman, and Lieutenant Gilmartin. They were successful in gaining this $20,000 grant, and we're going to move ahead with body cameras for our police officers. I fairly described that, Eric Morrissey?
That is accurate, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Number 74.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village treasurer to create a special purpose account for our 2023 Police Interceptor SUV hybrid.
Is there a second?
Second.
This has been on our capital plan and is part of the sequence of vehicle replacements we normally anticipate.
That's right.
The cost of vehicles has risen a lot in the world, not just for police vehicles, but for all kinds of vehicles. So, comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 75.
Resolve the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from the Break the Hold Foundation for the Into the Light Walk on Sunday, June 11th, 2023, from 4:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. pending submission of insurance documents. Be it further resolved that the village police chief has the authority to cancel the event due to adverse weather conditions or safety concerns.
Is there a second?
Second.
So the Break the Hold Walk has been a relatively new, but nonetheless sort of iconic event in the village of Pleasantville. We do ask that folks respect the fact that they're walking through neighborhoods very early in the morning on a Sunday morning, and ask that they respect the quiet hours that folks along those routes would expect. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. That is the last of our regular resolutions. Is there any comment of any kind from anybody in the audience, in the public, on Zoom? Seeing none, any new business or further announcements? We've exhausted the subjects for the evening. Two things to leave you with. One is a very special congratulations to our two new police officers, Jonathan Garcia and Isael Rivera. Welcome to the family of the village of Pleasantville. And secondly, be reminded that next Tuesday, or a week from Tuesday, March 21st is the village election. There are 3 polling places. If I got that right?
Yep.
Correct.
And you will have received from the Westchester Board of Elections a card in the mail indicating where you vote. If you don't know where to vote, you can find out at westchestergov.com, or if that information is hard to find, perhaps the folks on the 3rd floor of Village Hall could assist you.
That's correct.
But most of all, please remember to participate in the process of voting at our village elections on March 21. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good evening, good night. See you in 2 weeks on March 27.
All righty.